Let me
Yeah.
share my screen. Actually, I'm going to stop and start over and make sure I did that right. I did. Yep, I did. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and turn us off, okay?
Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Pamela Hardy-Shepard, and I'm so pleased to be here. And today we are going to have a course in living a growth mindset and basically just be happy. So we approach life in various ways that lead to a successful mind shift and experience in happiness. We want to find joy. So here's what we're going to go through today. What is a growth mindset? What does it mean to have a growth mindset? Understanding the difference between a fix and a versus a growth mindset. What kind of mindset do you have? And how to take action, and most of all, how to be happy. So let's get started. I'm really excited about this, and I hope you are too. Carol Dweck, a professor of psychology at Stanford University, published a book called Mindset, The New Psychology for Success, for more than 30 years of research to help people succeed. So when we think about growth mindset, basically we think about what is it? How do we form it? Where does it come from? And so in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication, hard work, brains, talent, are just the starting points. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Have you ever met anybody who is so resilient? Do you think they have a growth mindset, or do you think they have a fixed mindset? I believe that when we have an issue or a problem, that there's a lesson in it so that we can grow, so that I can grow. What do I need to learn? How can I do this better? So as we go along, I want you to start thinking about questions and think about your own life, from your personal to your job to relationships. I want you to start thinking in those terms. So what does it mean to have a growth mindset? When someone has a growth mindset, they believe that they can continue to learn and become more intelligent with effort. In contrast, someone who has a fixed mindset believes they are born with a certain amount of talent, intelligence, and cannot be improved no matter how much effort that they put forth. So why is having a growth mindset so important? Why do you think it's important? And what are the biggest differences between having a fixed mindset and a growth mindset? Well, having a growth mindset is something that employers are looking for. So when you think about when you're applying for a job or something, they have tests, they have ways to know whether you have a fixed or growth mindset and whether you would be a good fit for their organization. If you believe that you can learn and become more skilled and intelligent, you will be a harder worker and you will excel in whatever job you do. So, when you think about it, you are the person that goes over and beyond the call of duty. So continue to think about that. It is my hope that you will be open to learning new things and new information that will basically come easier to you. One of the biggest differences between these two mindsets is how one handles mistakes or criticism. Are you good with criticism? I don't think anyone likes to be criticized. However, if it helps you do a better job next time, it's not such a problem. It also depends on how someone gives a constructive criticism or feedback. But when you make a mistake, this isn't the end of the road. You just say, I made a mistake. How can I do this better? Someone with a growth mindset sees mistakes as a learning opportunity and openly accepts mistakes and criticism because they believe it will help them grow. And I am one that really truly believes, I believe this. People come into your life for two reasons: to give a lesson or to get a lesson, or both. And so sometimes, whatever mistakes or issues that we may have, they're not always bad. There's always, I always look for a silver lining. Oh, what can I learn from this? Someone with a fixed mindset often gives up and takes criticism personally. Well, if you take it personally, how will you grow from it? Now, everybody doesn't give criticism in the way that you may like it, but even if it's harsh, you just kind of peel away the way that people actually present it and say, okay, what can I learn? Where is the truth in this? And when you do that, it's just easier for you to be able to learn and grow from it. Now, here are some differences between fixed and growth. And you can easily see, and you see I have a lock and a key over here because I don't believe that we are just generally all fixed mindset or all growth mindset. We have the ability to put the key in, turn the lock, and become whatever we choose to be. Because know this, it is a choice. You have a choice. And when you have a choice, you can move from a fixed mindset. So let's look at some of the basic intelligence. They say intelligence is static, whereas a growth mindset says intelligence can be developed. A fixed mindset avoids challenges. So it's like, that's too hard. Why should I even try? I'm not going to make it. And someone with a growth mindset says it is hard, it's an obstacle, but I believe I can do it. And a perfect example of this is when I wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I have had 3 kids, I had grandchildren, and I was tired of riding on my ex-husband's motorcycle. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Well, I didn't have a motorcycle. And so that was my main challenge. How am I going to learn? Well, I found a place where I could go where they had loaners, right? So when I got into class, there was nothing but men. Men had Harley Davidsons. They were all riders. They were just riding, going through the course so that they could get a sticker to get on a military base. And actually, I was very intimidated because in my mind, I was like, oh, they're going to think, what is this old woman doing? Why is she in here? But that isn't what happened. Matter of fact, they were very, very helpful. I had a 250cc engine, which really wasn't anything, but in comparison to their bikes that they were using, I was just like riding a little bicycle. But no matter what, I seen this as a challenge, and I kept saying, I can do this, I can do this. And I won't go through all of it, but mostly I have to say this: I still have my motorcycle license today. So that was a challenge for me. And I could even either say, that's what I wanted, and do nothing about it, right? Sometimes we don't do anything about it. We say, oh, we want this goal or we want that, but we're not willing to put the effort in. If we fail, if we fall down, we get back up. So here, gives up easily due to obstacles. That could have been me, but I chose to persist in spite of the obstacles. See efforts as fruitless. Well, I didn't see that. I see my efforts as a pathway to mastery, to getting my motorcycle license. Ignores useful feedback. When the instructor he said to me, hey, Hardy, you're slow. I can read War and Peace by the time you get down here. Speed it up, speed it up. And I was like, oh, okay. And I did what he said. I did what he said. They're threatened by others' success. Well, I could have said, well, look at all these men with their bikes, and they've got all these big bikes and they're beautiful, and I can't do this. Well, I wasn't. I was actually inspired by what they had accomplished. And you know what? I said to myself, if they can accomplish it, I can too. So I'm going to ask you, what kind of mindset do you have? Growth mindset says, I can learn anything I want. Fixed mindset says, I'm either good at it or I'm not. Well, I am thinking about me trying to learn the piano. I don't believe I have a talent for piano, but I believe if I can practice, stay with it, and not get frustrated, I can do it. So when some people get frustrated, they basically give up. And they say, I do not like to be challenged. I love to be challenged because I never know what I can accomplish. When I fail, I am no good. And a fixed mindset feels that way. They're just no good. And that's not true. You know, tell me I am smart. I don't need you to tell me I'm smart. I need to tell myself. I need to tell myself I can succeed. So if you succeed, I feel threatened if I have a fixed mindset. No, I don't feel threatened because I'm looking to see what you're doing. If you can do it, I can do it too. So, you know, when we look at mindset, and I want you to think about yours and all the things that we've thought about and discussed thus far, I want you to think about how do you apply these two mindsets to your everyday life, to your job, to your relationships. So I'm always going to ask questions because it is about how do you get a promotion in your job? If you think, well, everybody's at the top, I'll never get there. Well, you certainly won't. But if you believe, you know what, if they can make it, I can do it. I may have to do something else. I may have to go back to school. I may have to do a myriad of things. But you know what? How bad do you want it? And if you want it, you will receive it. And that's just the way it is. So here is a video discussion. And I really like this video and the belief of mindset and success. And so we're just going to look at a brief section of this. And then I want us to come back and really we think about what we actually seen in this video. So I'm going to have to scoot it over here and hopefully we'll be able to hear him. I really don't hear him. So I may just have to cut this off and basically say that's not going to work. So again, we want to continue thinking about our mindset and what does it bring us. And so I'll just say this, since we didn't see the video, I'll discuss it. I want you to think about something. The video that we did not see actually kind of points out that our mindset determines our outcome. You know, when you think about Shakespeare at some point had to learn his ABCs, right? And you say, well, of course, everybody does. And then you think about there was a time when Einstein, he could not count to 10. So it doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And what are you willing to do? And you look at that puzzle, what are you willing to do to reach your goal? So thinking of this, what thoughts and ideas come to your mind that you can learn, and think about the effort it takes, the problem solving, and how you sought out others for help to accomplish your goal. It's just like going back to school. I can remember going to a state university, and it was so big, it was so huge. And I sought out one of my friends who had already been there. And she paid this forward to me. She stayed with me all day. Now, I could have just figured it out myself, but she told me things that I would not have known. So reach out to other people. It's really okay if you need help. It doesn't mean that you can't do this by yourself. So I want you to look at this. This is a mindset quiz. And the mindset quiz is your intelligence is something very basic about you that you can change very much, and it strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. And so what we'll do is at the end of this course, I will make sure that you have this quiz so that you can take it. So I want you to think about a time when you learned something new and what steps did you take to learn it? And think of a time when you failed at something and how did that make you feel when you failed? Well, I know when I fail at things, then I'm trying to figure out how can I do better the next time at that. And what happened after you failed? Well, I can give you another example. I lived in the UK. I lived in Scotland, and actually I rode horses in the United States, but I had never ridden a horse a British saddle. And so I got on this horse and I was with a group of women and they were all avid riders. I was not an avid rider. I was just somebody who got on a horse and trotted around and called myself horseback riding. Well, I got on this horse and if you know anything about a British saddle, you have to use your thighs. You don't have the horn. You have to literally use your thighs. So now if you know anything about what Scotland may look like, it is hilly, it is rocky. It's mountains that are just rocks. So we're going up in these mountains and the guide is leading us up and our horses started cantering, and so they were doing a trot. I call it a trot, but they were cantering, which meant you were bouncing up and down. And I fell off my horse. I fell off my horse once. I fell off my horse 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. But understand, I kept getting back on. Now, the 5th time I fell off the horse, I guess I got knocked out, and I woke up and I said, "Oh my gosh, I killed the horse." And they were like, "Pamela, why don't you get back? Just go back." Well, I had to go back whether I finished the ride or not. Of course, I was slowing them down and I felt pretty bad about that. But I said, "No, I'm going to finish this ride no matter what. If it kills me, I'm going to finish this ride." And ladies and gentlemen, I finished the ride and I felt so much better for it. But let me take it a step further. When I came back to the United States, I didn't know if I was going to have fear of getting on a horse because I fell off 5 times, or what was I going to do? So I made sure that I got back up on a horse with a Western saddle. And I rode that horse. I didn't gallop. I didn't do anything. I just trotted. And that was my way of saying, yes, I fell off the horse. I got back on, but I needed to get back on in another instance. So just think about what happens to you when you learn something new. That was learning something new for me, a British saddle. And I was not someone who was an avid rider. I was just a regular person saying, oh, horseback riding would be fun. So think about instances that you come that actually are in your life, and what did you do, and how did you feel, and what steps did you take? I want you to be thinking about that as we go through this. So taking action, a growth and fixed mindset assessment. Our mindset is everything. It determines our outcome. So I want you to think about, it determines our attitude, our future, our moods, our ideas. What do you do to foster a growth mindset? Who do you hang around with? Are they of the same mindset as you? I can't be around negative people that think doom and gloom all the time and everything is just awful, because they impede upon how you think and how you feel. So be cognizant of who you're around. It also forms your future. If I didn't think I could get a degree, I wouldn't have gotten 1, 2, 3, or 4. I just wouldn't have done it. And, people around me couldn't understand, why would you do that? Well, because that's what I wanted to do. So the people that I was around was people that had education, because they would be the ones who would push me on. And so I was raised to think about your circle of friends. Who's in your circle? They also either foster or tear down how you think. They either build you up, they encourage you, or they don't. Tell you your ideas are crazy. Well, who wants to be around someone like that? I certainly don't. So think about who's in your circle. And the success or failure in your life depends on ways you set your mindset. So if I plan to go on a diet, I'm certainly not going to tell myself from the outset I'm going to fail. I'm going to tell myself I'm going to build myself up. I'm going to do a lot of self-talk. I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to do everything in my power to equip myself and to have everything I need so that I can accomplish what I set out to do. So if your thought takes you into negative side, this will produce that negative result, while in a positive, the result will be positive as well. So I want you to be thinking about that. And I have 10 ways to change your mindset, The first step is to challenge your thoughts. Write out an action plan. I sat down an action plan, or you can do a vision board. Put it, if you're a visual person and you need to see it, put it up on a vision board. You can do that, right? And change your mindsets. Changing your mindset starts with yourself. It doesn't start with what anybody says to you, what they put in. It is your self-talk. It is what you feel you can do. Well, I may say, I didn't know if I could ride a motorcycle, but I said, this is what I want to do. So it started with me. And so it starts with you. So you want to be able to challenge yourself, and then also you want to adopt a healthy lifestyle. If you're sick and you're eating junk and you're eating processed food, that has a real function of having a positive mindset. Garbage in, garbage out. You can't expect to eat something that is bad for you on a regular and then expect to have the best mindset. So think about that as well. Show gratitude to others. You know, one of the things I've learned over the years is being grateful. Being grateful when people do things, even if they hold the door. Thank you so much. And then I put a smile on my face, because smiling actually decreases wrinkles. It actually makes you look younger, and it lifts. If you just smile, it just lifts you up. And it's so amazing that how it makes you feel. So help someone else who is in need. A lot of times when we are having a bad time, we focus on ourselves. Well, when you step out of your comfort zone and help someone else out in need or pay it forward, there's someone who is hungry, or one of your friends are having a hard time with something, or they may need $50. It may not always be dollars. It just may be your time. But when we step outside of our problems and look at someone else's problem, it makes our problems look relatively small, or it takes us away from our problem and takes us off ourselves and puts our focus on someone else. So do that and create a gratitude journal. I think that is really, really big. You know, a lot of times great things happen to us and we remember them, but when you write them down and you date them and you come back, and then it's like, wow, yeah, that happened to me back in 2013, and I was able to accomplish that. When you have something that is providing a roadmap of all the great things that have happened to you, because I can tell you, you can name all the negative things that happen throughout your life, throughout your day, your month, or year. You can name them right off the top of your head. So it's really easy to be negative, and it takes work to be grateful and to be positive. And learn to accept your emotions. Your emotions are real. But it doesn't mean if you're having a bad day and you have bad emotions or good emotions, it doesn't mean you have to stay there. You do not have to stay there. You have a choice. You have a choice. So if I'm in a bad mood, you know what I do? I get up, and whatever it may be for you, it may be playing the piano, it may be putting on music. When I need to shift my mood, I put on music. It changes who I am. I change my environment. I go outside. I go do something different, but I don't stay in the mire of what's going on. And celebrate your big and small achievements. Sometimes we forget. We wait till the end to celebrate. Why? Celebrate your milestones. If you're going to school and you got through your first semester, celebrate it. I don't mean you have to go out and buy a brand new wardrobe, but whatever you call celebration. Going out to dinner. Well, going out to dinner in a pandemic may be a little different, but use your imagination. But celebrate the small victories as well. And put that in your gratitude journal. Now, why mindset matters. Your beliefs, and I love this quote, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become actions, your actions become habits, your habits become values, and your values become your destiny. And that's the nature of the mindset. Think about it. Your beliefs become your thoughts. If I believe something, I believe it, Now it's my thoughts. My thoughts become words. Your words become the actions that you do. And then pretty soon it becomes the habits, and your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So, 8 principles that can be used to describe underlying nature of mindset. Mindsets are habits of the mind. The word mindset was first used in the 1930s to mean habits of the mind formed by previous experiences. You have a myriad of experiences if you lived any length of time. You have experiences and you have habits. In simple terms, mindsets are deeply held beliefs. They become your attitudes and assumptions, and we create about who we are and how the world works based on all of the things we just said. Mindsets are created by experiences. I had this experience. Well, maybe you can have a different experience. Be open to it. You have to be open to it. And when you're open to it, things change. And sometimes the world doesn't change, but you can always look for the positive. Right now, there's a lot going on in our world. This pandemic, everyone, it is bad. People have died. Things have happened. But I have to also look at it has made people take a step back, slow down, and think about what is important to them. And guess what? It is relationships. Because when I don't mean to be morbid, but when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to say, hey, bring me my Mercedes, bring me my new couch, bring me my diamonds. You're going to want the people that you love, that mean something to you. You want them around you. You want them to be near you. So those are the things that are so important. Mindsets are created, as I said, by experiences. Mindsets are created from the distinctions we're able to make about our experiences. Growing up, I had a lot of different experiences that I wish not to ever have again. However, and they were pretty negative, without me going into great detail, because I could probably write a book on all the negative things that have happened to me. And if you've lived any length of time, I'm sure you can too. Everybody has a story, and everybody can tell you all the bad things that have happened to them. But I took those bad things and I made them work for me in terms of helping other people not have to go through some of the bad things. That's why I teach. I love teaching because, everybody doesn't learn the same way, but everybody can learn. So mindset creates blind spots. Mindset provides us with fragmented ways of looking at the world, never complete facts of what it is. We have to really get in there and think about how the world works and what role do we play in that. Mindset are self-deceptive. Any attempt to shift our mindset will be met by a powerful force. It usually is, oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to be positive. And there will always be something that will come and get in your way. But you have to be determined that, oh no, this is not for me. I am going to change. I don't care what I see. So mindsets are shaped on a daily basis. We make our mindset, our thoughts, our words, our actions radiate out from our mindset like ripples in a lake, or, you throw a rock out and it just ripples out. So I really want you to really be thinking about how you can develop a positive mindset. It is a gradual thing. It is a process. If you have in some areas, I have a great growth mindset. In some areas, I am a work in progress. I am not perfect. We are not perfect. We are in process. So I just want to leave that at your doorstep right now. And I want you to really think about this, because this is like amazing. It is amazing things to understand how our mindset affects our lives. And next, we're going to talk about, excuse me, be happy, a decision of the role of the individual. And when you think about it, you have a choice to be happy. So the power of perspective. Why happiness? Well, for centuries, happiness has been an arena of interest for philosophers, scholars, statesmen, politicians, excuse me, researchers, professionals, and everyday people. It's always been on the mind of everyone. And when you think about mindset, it plays really well into happiness or being happy. The concept of happiness has been presented as a meaning, a purpose of all life, a human right, emotional state of being, and even today in a dialogue is still evolving. Our personal perspective may change as we explore historical and modern beliefs about happiness. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Aristotle is one of the earliest documented thinkers on the topic of happiness. He presented happiness as the meaning and purpose of life and the whole aim and end of human existence. According to Aristotle, happiness enshrines a central purpose of human life and a goal in itself. Aristotle was convinced that genuinely happy life required fulfillment of the broad range of conditions. And I want you to think about that. Does happiness evolve around a broad range of conditions, including physical as well as mental well-being? In this way, Aristotle has been credited for introducing the idea of science of happiness as a new field of knowledge, at least in the classical sense. So as you see this lady, I'm going to take, she's happy because she's got this big refrigerator that she's carrying. You be the judge on that. Happiness depends, excuse me, on ourselves. You're as happy as you want to be. And when I looked at this photo, I looked at these people, they all look happy. They appear to be happy. And that leads us to the pursuit of happiness is a human right. U.S. Declaration of Independence, paragraph 2, 1776, according to the United States Declaration of Independence, the pursuit of happiness is a human right. Duly noted, the Declaration doesn't guarantee the right of happiness, but only the right to pursue what makes you happy. So think about that. The Declaration doesn't guarantee the right to be happy, but only to pursue what makes you happy. So John Locke's debate about happiness as prosperity, the theory of well-being. The Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal and have the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Happiness is an emotional state. It's pleasant, positive emotions and having needs satisfied. And when we look at Maslow's hierarchy of need, it's a pyramid, and it's basically telling you here the physiological, the safety, love, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. When our basic needs are met, it helps us to be happy. And when we feel safe, when we are safe and in our home, and we're secure with money, and then we have loving relationships, and we have self-esteem and self-actualization, then for most people, we're happy. But I want you to think about, where are you here? Where are you? Maslow's quest to understand human motivation and the pursuit of happiness led to the formulation of a list of basic human needs. And that has been fulfilled for maximum psychological health. And you think about that. If you don't have a place to live, if you live in a bad neighborhood, if you do not have loving relationships, at least with someone. So these are the things that make people happy. And it's all about perspective too. So to sum it all up, there is no single definition or agreement about the meaning of happiness. My perspective is always both and. With all these historical perspectives of happiness in mind, I believe happiness should be our meaning and purpose. And it should also be our right to pursue happiness on our own terms, not on someone else's. Every time you see a commercial, oh, this will make you happy. Well, you have to pursue that on your own terms. And furthermore, the thinking and dialogue about happiness shouldn't stop here, and it doesn't stop here. So again, there's all kind of definitions, and it is a perspective. What may make me happy may be throwing a yo-yo, and for someone else, it may be something totally different, going to Paris. Paris would make me happy too, but I'm just using that as an example. The role of the individual. Most folks are usually about as happy as they make up their minds, and that's Abraham Lincoln. And I thought that was so powerful. Being happy is a natural byproduct of seeing the possibilities and designing your ideal life by thinking beyond your current belief system. The secret to happiness is eliminating or managing all sources of negativity, frustration, while discovering new energy and joy. And so when you think about it, it says eliminating and managing all sources of negativity. What is the negativity in your life that you can manage? What is the frustration that you can manage? So we have a choice to be happy, but it is strictly up to us. And I'm not saying you need to be happy with everything that happens to you. Again, it goes back to this happened. What can I learn from it? How can I do better next time? I'm always being beat down. You get beat down. And then I just say, once I'm beaten down, I'm just going to roll on over in the dust and get up. How about you? The role of the individual, each person holds so much power within themselves that needs to be let out. Sometimes they just need a little nudge, a little direction, a little support, a little coaching, and the greatest things can happen. And that's Pete Carroll. And I loved it because there's other ways. There's coaching, there's therapy. Coaching and therapy are distinct in many ways, and it's important to draw a clear line between them. Well, I'm a coach. I'm a life coach. I'm not a therapist. Therapy is generally speaking for people dealing with psychological issues that undermines their ability to function in healthy, adaptive ways. Sometimes we just plain old need help. Now, I want you to think about something, because I've told many people that I'm a life coach, and they were saying, what do I need a life coach for? Well, when you're a child, or you see people in the NBA or in the, NFL or ice skating, whatever, they actually they have coaches. And what does the coach does? They have some experience doing something to help move you from one thing to another. That's what a coach does. You have all the answers. A coach has amazing questions to ask you to pull it out of you to help you achieve your goal. So the focus is retrospective. When you think about that, is what a therapy may do. It includes repairing damage from previous experiences, identifying and treating disorders and pathologies, alleviating symptoms through behavioral, cognitive, or analytic interventions is the scope of therapy. Whereas coaching, on the other hand, has present future orientation and focuses on goals and desired outcomes, draws on the client's potential, strengths, skills to maximize and the fulfillment in life and work. Even though both approaches rely on developing awareness and developmental issues, therapy relies on the awareness of the past experience to bring about healing in the present, and coaching sheds light into unseen possibilities and the strengths, thus linking awareness to action. So you may need a life coach. You may need to, you know, have therapy, go to therapy. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. And that's, if you don't hear anything else from me, I want you to hear that. It's okay to ask for help. Nine ways to feel more joy. Well, it says, buy yourself some bliss. Be bullish about your me time. Forget self-improvement. Make tough stuff work. Be generous with your time. Spend 21 minutes focusing on your relationship. We spend more time working on our car or on our computers, on our cell phones, on whatever, Instagram, Facebook. Spend 21 minutes a day, just 21 minutes on your relationship. And try a tearjerker. I know that sounds like, what? A tearjerker? Well, sometimes when you watch movies that are emotional and you see, in a story, you've always got the character and there is they have a goal and there's some object in there that keeps them from getting to their goal. And, what is that tension in between? And finally, they get to it or they don't. But a tearjerker helps you think about not even just the movie, but yourself. Find a way to bring joy to your commute. Well, I used to commute 71 miles each direction every day. So I would listen to podcasts, but mostly I listened to music. I had a party on the way home because it was a longer commute. It would take me almost 2 hours to get home from San Diego to Riverside County because the traffic was so bad on Interstate 15 that it would almost take 2 hours. So figure out ways to make your commute. If you're riding with somebody, do something in the car. Use your imagination. And then there's always fake it until you feel it. They say fake it till you make it. I say fake it till you feel it. So purchasing things like televisions, clothes, coffee pots won't make you happier overall. However, by buying experiences that maximize happiness, research shows that people who purchase concert tickets, a series of crochet lessons, or simply a Tuesday night dinner are more happier than those who spend their money on possessions. Because there will always be another possession to get. But when you go to a concert, you share that with somebody. It's an experience. And it's like, wow, I'm a fan of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh, when I went to Earth, Wind, and Fire, I remember that. And, nowadays you take your phone and you can actually record in the concerts and then you can play it over and over again. Or when you travel to another country or you go on a cruise, you're creating memories. But if you buy inanimate objects, yes, they may make your life easier. And they make you happy when you get them, but then there'll be the next thing. So the payoffs are in the social bonding that you have with people. And there was a study of 500,000 women and men in 72 countries found that happiness dips when women are about 40. For men, the slump typically hits around 52. And comes roaring back, as they approach 50. Researchers have yet to explain the bliss boomerang effect. Women tend to get squeezed between the challenges of raising kids, caring for their aging parents, and may feel life is passing them by. A good reminder here is the example on the safety tip on the airplane, and I love this. The safety tip is this. And I know you all know it, but I'm going to tell it anyway. The safety tip is when you're flying and you're flying with children and the masks come down from the ceiling, they tell you to put it on you, then your child. You need to save you, because if you put the mask on your child and you've lost oxygen and you're falling around, you have this child who is saying, Mom, Mom. So you put the mask on you. You cannot give from an empty vessel. You have to take care of you. So you remember that. And remember, you can't give from an empty vessel. Once the children leave the nest, women have time to nurture themselves. Basking in what is already great about themselves is more effective route to joy than trying to fix what is not. Yes, even broken bones can have a silver lining. When upheaval strikes, consider how you improved your life because of it. Think about it. Research has shown that giving to charity brings more happiness than spending money on yourself. Researchers at the Northwestern University tracked the marital bliss of 120 couples, and half of the participants did a 7-minute exercise 3 times a week in which they pondered 3 questions. And I want you to think about these questions. So if you're married or you're in a relationship, ponder this. How would a neutral third party view your recent marital spat? So when you get in a fight with your husband or wife or your boyfriend or girlfriend, how would a neutral third party view your recent spat? Going forward, what obstacles stand in your way of thinking like this third party during the arguments? Number 3, how might you succeed at thinking like the third party during conflicts, and how would it help your relationship? Well, if you were a third party and you were able to interject or tell them what you've seen, I think it would be amazing for someone to see it through their relationship through someone else's eyes. What do you see? Because we're so in it that we can't see what we're doing. And here I must add, a lot of times in relationships, an individual in a relationship always wants to be right. No, I say, is it more important to be right, or is it more important to have peace? There are sometimes you just have to step back, because you can be right all day and you can be alone. That was free. Couples who evaluate themselves in this way have less arguments, induce stress, and higher levels of happiness and passion for those who did not take the quiz. So I'm going to go back over those questions again. Okay, how would a neutral third party view your recent marital spat? Going forward, what obstacles stand in your way of thinking like this third party during arguments, and how might you succeed at thinking like the third party during conflicts, and how would it help your relationship? So again, couples who evaluated themselves this way had less arguments, induced stress, and higher levels of happiness and passion than those who did not take the quiz. Ohio State University study found that watching a tearjerker and people experiencing more sadness during a movie reported feelings of happiness after the movie. Wow, that was a great movie. Even though it made you cry, made you cheer up. And I do that too. It's like, oh my goodness. And there's been several movies that I just cry, and I always remember, I remember that movie far over some movie. I love Star Wars, but certain parts in the movie in Star Wars even made me cry, between Luke and Darth Vader. So people who walk or bike to the office may be happier than those who drive and take the bus, according to a 2012 study of 800 people in Portland, Oregon. Commuting is actually a good time for built-in introspection and reflection. Refrain from glaring at cars ahead and think about something that, you're grateful. We discussed that about being grateful. Crank up the tunes. That is me. Listen to music, releases dopamine, a mood enhancing hormone. And that's why, I can remember at my job, sometimes I'd get an email and I would be like, I would get up, go in the other room, and I would turn on music and I would start moving, and I would move. And then I would come back and respond to the email. Now, you can't do that with everything, but you certainly, if you have the opportunity, you can. Even in the office, you have things that need to be done and people are coming at you. To keep your cool and to keep your positivity, Get up, move around, walk around the cubicle, do whatever it takes, but get some motion. So, flashing a grin shows down the heart, it slows down the heart rate during stress and chills. Remember, I said just smile. I mean, I want you to think about this. As you're sitting there or standing there, whatever position you're in, I just want you to smile. And what does that do? I mean, be cognizant of your smile. Just smile. It makes you feel good. Smile. Now, here's a happiness checklist. Lean on one another. Keep the faith. Feel good about yourself. Give back. Have gratitude or be grateful. Get away, even if it's just for a day or an afternoon or an hour, but get away. Change your environment. Mind your social media. If you're on social media all day, that can be a downer. And you know, half the stuff you read on social media isn't true. You know, I know a lot of people that do a lot of things to get a lot of attention, but mind your social media. Think happy thoughts. How do you do that? Well, one of the things I do is what makes me happy is music. You already know that, but water, the ocean. If you live near an ocean, get to it. If you don't, you can always hear the ocean, or you can get on your computer and look at the waves, close your eyes, and just imagine you're there. And like I said, go off the grid sometimes. You literally have to go away. Go away, get off the grid. Shut your phone down, shut your TV down, shut your computer down, your iPad, your iPod, whatever. Being connected to that now does not allow you to reboot yourself. So, just go off the grid, get away. And I know this sounds crazy, but just be nice. How can you pay it forward to someone? Just be extra nice to someone. Smile, have a good day. And I have a story to tell. When I was an undergrad, I used to go to school very, very early in the morning. And there would be this woman who was sitting on a bench. And every day I would speak to her. She'd never speak. And this went on for a whole year, but it got to be the point that I said, well, I'm just going to keep speaking to her. If she doesn't speak, I'm going to make her speak. But she never spoke. And I would speak every morning, walk past her, 6:30 in the morning, every day. And then one day I was on my way and I spoke just like I always do. And I got past her and I was in mid-stride. And she said, good morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, she spoke to me. And I know that sounds crazy for some people. Like, I would have stopped speaking to her a long time ago, first week or whatever. I've heard a myriad of things said, but I don't know. You never know what's going on in someone's life. And if you can impart some happiness, then it comes back to you. So just be nice. Buy someone a Starbucks behind you. And make one day a week your fun day. I don't know what that may be. It may be going to the roller skating rink. I know a lot of people are roller skating in the pandemic. They're roller skating with their mask on. They're out there on jet skis. They're doing a myriad of things. If you can't do that, what is your fun day? Your fun day may be saying, I want to go to the spa. I need to get my nails done. You can do that in a very safe way. But you figure out what your one day is. That may be going out to the desert, shooting something, not people, some tin cans or something. It may be boxing. Just maybe just sitting in your backyard, soaking in the sun with your family. You figure out what that is. But it definitely can change your life. And this is the beginning. So I want you to think about all the things that we discussed in this presentation. It is your life. You choose. And the most important thing you can choose is to be happy and to have a positive mindset. And I will look forward to speaking with all of you soon, and just be happy. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.